Hello and welcome to the Homeless Consultants channel. My name is Paul B. I am the Homeless Consultant. It's about 3:30 in the morning and I had to make this video now. Folks, there's one business owner here who has basically insisted, and I mean insisted, that I sleep outside of his business at night because, as he puts it himself, he's worried about my safety. I saw him 2 days ago, I believe it was 2 days ago, and when he saw me, because he hadn't seen me sleeping here, I leave before he comes in so that the other business owners nearby won't freak out that oh my goodness, a homeless person is nearby. So he hadn't seen me in probably 3 or 4 weeks, and he basically came running up to me. Hello, he had this big smile on his face. He said, I was so worried about you. I was afraid you got shot, or your car died, or you were stranded, living in the gutter or something. I mean, now the reason that he feels that way is because those are very real risks, and he recognizes it. So he insists that I sleep at his business at night. And I often do. By the way, he is not a native Minnesotan. You probably figured that out already because I just told you he's a very kind and compassionate person who cares about other people. He's not from Minnesota originally. The business had problems with crime a year or two ago. So when I'm here, if I'm awake, I keep my eyes on things. Now the irony is that the other businesses it's a small strip, you might say strip mall of sorts. The other businesses in the daytime, if they ever see me here, they're all snarl-faced and, ew, homeless person. You know, I'm disheveled and all this, all the junk in my car. They're just osteo-phobia. Those are the Minnesotans, the native-born Minnesotans. Every one of them. And yet, when I'm here at night sleeping, whether they know I'm here at night sleeping or not, when I'm here, I'm protecting their business. That's Minnesotans for you. So tonight, I'm here. I came in at about 1 o'clock. 1:30, something like that. I couldn't sleep. So I was looking up something on my tablet. Okay, I was looking up drawing tablets, for artwork. And I see in the shadows, because it's very dark here, which is nice for me, but I see in the shadows, I see somebody moving. And I look a little closer, and it's somebody pushing a bicycle. Now, one thing we've had out here is there's this crazy guy who rides around on his bicycle throughout the middle of the night with no shirt on, and he does really weird things. Like he'll go across the street there and he'll pick up sticks from the ground, and then he'll bundle them and put them in his bag in the back of his bicycle, and then he'll ride his bicycle across the street, and then he'll dump the sticks over he has like a cache of stuff, and he'll put all the sticks over there or something, like a slow-moving beaver. And this guy is a nut job, right? It's very scary when he comes by, because I'll be at night and this guy will come riding by on his bike with his shirt off right in front of my car. This guy scares the crap out of me. So, of course, I originally thought it was him, because I could only see a shadow, or a silhouette. I see the silhouette go in between a couple cars and go into the back entrance to the strip mall. So, in other words, if you wanted to get into the hallway that accesses all these businesses, that's where you would go to try to break in. So I'm sitting there for a few minutes and I'm trying to decide, well, how do I do this? If I call the police, then I'll probably be the one that they're paying attention to. If I don't call the police, then if I even start the car or do anything, then I alert potentially a dangerous person to the fact that I'm here in the middle of the night myself, And that could put me at risk, if not today, then in some future date, because now they know I'm here. But what do? I can't just let somebody break into the mall, or the little strip area, in my friend's business here. So, I don't know, I spent maybe 3 minutes trying to figure out what to do, and I said, well, I've got to protect this place. So I started up I got my camera out, I got my bright light, very bright light, got my camera, I started the car, put the headlights on, and I kind of tore out, and I went around and pulled up to where I'm facing that door. And what I saw was somebody start walking their bicycle again, very slowly, behind this pylon, this column to the outside of the building. And I pull up next to them, and they're leaning their bicycle against the column. And it's really dark, so I can't really tell. So I'm holding the camera, I want to know who this person is and document it in case there's problems going on. It's 2:30 in the morning, folks. 2:30 in the morning in this extremely dark area. And I realize this is a young girl. This is like maybe 16, 18-year-old girl. She's wearing a hoodie. And so since my window doesn't work, I had to open the door, and I said, do you need any assistance? And I said it in kind of a, I don't want to say menacing way, but I said it in a way, do you need help? I'm not going to just sit there and say, what are you trying to do, break into the place? So I said, do you need any assistance? And she's just, and immediately I realized this girl's stoned out of her mind. She's just like looking around like this. She was probably shooting up over there in that cubby hole. And she just blows me off and just space out. She leaves her bicycle and she just starts staggering around the back of my car. So I pull out the light so I have better light. And again, I'm trying to document potential crime here. So I put the light on the bicycle and I filmed the bicycle. Now I'm not going to show you any of this video, okay? There's no reason to show you this young girl. I have it here to give to the police. I'll tell you why in a moment. But so I filmed the bicycle with good light so that you can identify that. Then I'd back out and I'd go look for her. She's walking around the backside of the strip mall, just kind of staggering around, and she's already actually, around the corner. So I pull around and again, I have to open this darn door. I can't roll down the window, and I don't want to scare her, but I can't talk. The window doesn't work. So I crack open the door again, and I was a little bit hard on her, to be honest. I just said, so, what are you doing out here this time of night? They've had some problems with crime out here. Do you have anything to do with that? And I was saying something like that, and again, it was just obvious. She's like looking up in the air and spinning around like a flower girl, just mumbling nonsense. She wasn't hearing she couldn't understand a word I said, so I just stopped talking at that point. And I filmed her because it was in good light. I didn't need the flashlight. Again, you got to document these things if something's going on. And then I just kind of pulled to the side and I watched her, and she just staggered slowly down the street, passed right by her bicycle, and just kept walking. Left her bicycle there. Okay, so the whole thing took 5 minutes or less. So I sit there and I wait and I watch to see if she comes back for the bicycle, which is fine. Grab your bicycle. I'm not trying to steal your bicycle. I hope you do get your bicycle back. Of course I do. But, don't go break into my friend's business or the business of these ostateo-phobic Minnesotans who hate me so much because I'm homeless, even though I'm protecting their business in the middle of the night while they're sleeping in a warm bed. It's kind of cold out here tonight. My hands are very cold, by the way. So I pull back to where I would be sleeping normally, and I'm just sitting and watching to see if she comes back, and if she gets her bicycle and goes about her business, great, whatever, not a big deal. But I think that probably scared her enough where if she was trying, but I don't think she was trying to break in. Anyway, the point is, after I had those encounters with her, it was obvious what was going on. This girl is completely out of her mind on drugs. And it looked to me something like an opiate, heroin or something. It wasn't the ecstasy kind of thing. It was just like, just like that. Now, I don't know a lot about drugs, but I did do my drug video, Let's Talk About Drugs. I've studied a lot about it, but I've never been in that culture. I will never be in that culture. I want nothing to do with it. From what I understand, heroin is something where if you're using it, it doesn't take long before you build a tolerance. So you have to keep taking more to get the same effect. But there comes a point where if you take more, you're going to overdose and die. So it becomes this case of where just to be like a normal person, just to go about your normal business as a human being, you've got to have the heroin just to get you up to that level that you were trying to escape from in the first place. Which is why heroin has got to be one of the dumbest drugs that are amazing. Heroin came out of academia, by the way, the cult of academia, as I told you in one of my other videos. One of the great gifts from the big-brained academics. So the fact that this girl was so out of it, I don't know, this is total speculation, but it makes me think she's probably relatively new to this kind of a drug. So I'm sitting there and I'm just looking to see if she comes by, and I'm thinking about it, and I just immediately started feeling really bad. Because it was obvious it wasn't that creepy guy. It wasn't somebody trying to break into the place. She was probably shooting up, or she might have just been, but when I pulled in, she was already standing with the bike in her hand, so I don't think she was like laying on the ground sleeping or anything. And I just started feeling really, really bad. You know, I was pretty hard on her. I was trying to protect the place. But, I mean, this was a young girl. I mean, she couldn't have been more than 18 years old, maybe 16. It's 2:30 in the morning, just pitch black. She's walking her bicycle because she's so out of it she can't even ride the bicycle. And I just got feeling really, really bad. And I started thinking, well, what can I do about this? What can I do to help this girl? And I remembered, you know, it's been a couple years since I've had contact with a couple police officers in this area who were so good to me. And this whole department has been very good to me. This is in Burnsville. Nothing but love for the police department in Burnsville. They have one of the best police departments I've seen in the country. But these two individuals I really would like to speak to because they know me and they care about people in this kind of situation. So I was going through my wallet and I couldn't find my little, I don't even know where it is now, so I got this little flashlight thing. And then I'm going through my wallet and I'm trying to find their card and I can't find their cards. So I just give up and I say, look, somebody needs to help this girl before this gets out of control. I mean, this girl's too young to have this going on. So I call 911 and I say it's not an emergency. And I ended up speaking to someone I haven't spoken to before. And I just explained, you know, well, I got some video of her. Here's the description. Here's where she walked toward. You know, not trying to bust her chops or anything, but this girl needs help. And she's got to have it now before this gets out of control. We're coming up on winter. She wasn't even in control of her body enough to ride her bicycle. She could barely walk the thing. So I talked to the officer at length and gave the information there, and hopefully I'll be able to get in touch with the other officers I know and maybe give them the pictures so they can know who to look for. What I want to point out here is a couple things. First of all, this kind of spookiness is what I have to deal with. I've told you, my last video shows you how just sitting in a parking lot, I have people coming in all around me. They drive right next to me. They park next to me. Even in a huge empty parking lot, they'll choose to be near me, which puts me in danger. Because like I said, if you've ever seen videos on YouTube of a carjacking or something, that's what happens. They pull as far away as you saw in the last video. And if someone comes running out of that car with a gun, they can be at my car before I can even get the car started, especially when I have the seat all the way back and a computer in my lap. So I've got to move. I've got to move to maintain my safety, because this person chose to park that close to me in a huge empty parking lot at 3 or 4 in the morning. And I get chased all the time. So when I'm here trying to sleep, you know, so I can go to work and be effective at work, I don't need an interruption like this. I don't need to see something in the shadows. I don't need to see that creepy guy riding his bicycle right in front of my car with his shirt off so he can go pick up more sticks or do something. He does other bizarre things. He's just completely out of it. I feel bad for him. I really do. But the reality is he is what he is, and that does pose a risk. He's not in control of his faculties, and I don't know what that means. So I've got to watch out for him. So when I'm out here at night, this is a relatively safe place, okay? Again, the business owner wants me to sleep here. He almost orders me to sleep here. And like I said, if he doesn't even see me for a while, he gets really worried. In fact, this time he said, "What's your phone number?" He said, "I don't ever want to go that long without hearing from you again. I was really, really worried about you." He said, "I was actually talking to my wife about going out and trying to search for you and find you just to make sure that you're safe." You see, he understands the danger I'm in, the danger that homeless people are in. Again, he's not from Minnesota, and he cares. That's why he brought that up, not me. Because he understands. He is capable of empathy, which Minnesotans generally are not. There are some who are, of course. Like I said, the Burnsville Police Department is very good. But Minnesotans, as that cult I'm talking about, other people are nothing but tools to be, just used and consumed and discarded and exploited and destroyed, throw it out in the trash. People like me. I don't ever want to be like that. When I thought that this person, whoever it was breaking into the place, I was in protect my friend's business mode, and by extension the businesses of all these people who hate my guts for no other reason than because I don't have a home to sleep in. These sick, degenerate Minnesotans who would hate someone who's protecting their business just because I don't have a home. These people are deranged. But my friend's business, that I had to take action, even if it exposed me to potential harm. I had to. He's been too good to me. I can't just sit back and watch something happen. But it turns out to be this poor girl, and as time progressed, and your adrenaline gets going a bit, and it wasn't until she was gone that it really sunk in exactly what I had just seen. And then my heart just bled for her. This girl was too young, folks. She was way too young to be in a state like that. What is a 16 or 18-year-old girl doing having that kind of chemical concoction in her bloodstream? How does that happen? And no, I'm not talking about the vaccine, although that's very similar, because you don't know what's in that vaccine, do you? And the big pharmacy that created that vaccine is the same big pharmacy that is behind this opiate epidemic that we have today, which, by the way, if you look at anti-smoking laws, as they ban smoking, the opiate overdoses and deaths parallel it, or it goes right behind it. It trails it perfectly in every state that I've looked at. You see, because when you're not allowed to do something that is not a mind-altering drug like use tobacco, you look for a replacement. And that's what I warned the Minnesota legislature about in 2007, but they didn't listen. So if you look at their statistics, what do you see? As the smoking bans took effect, trailing behind it was an opiate epidemic and massive opiate deaths. Because it's easier to get heroin than it is to buy a pack of cigarettes today. And the stupid legislature right now is once again debating raising tobacco taxes. They can't get it through their head. Or is it because they get the kickbacks from the front groups into their pockets whenever they raise tobacco taxes? That's not the topic of this video, though, is it? But I will say this. Governor Tim Walz is one of the biggest pushers of drugs in this state. He is in favor of legalizing marijuana. And all you have to do, folks, all you have to do is go on YouTube and type in heroin addict. Start watching videos of heroin addicts talking about their experiences. I have yet to see one who says, I started using heroin because I started smoking cigarettes and it was a gateway. You see, cigarettes are not a mind-altering drug. Nicotine does do something to your mind, but it actually sharpens your mind. It's probably the best drug there's ever been. I mean, everyone to Albert Einstein praised tobacco as something that sharpened his mind enough to be able to do what he did without being a mind-altering drug that takes you away from reality. Tobacco is not the problem. But what you do see in these videos of these heroin addicts is them saying it started with marijuana. It started with pot, with weed. They give it all these cute little names. Because once you use a mind-altering drug, your mind is altered. Your defenses are down. Your inhibitions are taken away. So if someone comes up and says, well, hey, why don't you smoke what's on this foil? You're more likely to do it if you're high on marijuana than you are if you're got your brain working properly. And all it takes for many people is to try meth or heroin or these opiates one time. And that's it. They have gone instantly from a non-junkie to a junkie. And these sick, disgusting anti-smokers who hate smokers so much, they come out and say things like, you know, tobacco is as addictive as heroin. What an insult to these heroin addicts. What an insult. You try having someone quit smoking cold turkey. They might get a little cranky. You try someone stopping heroin cold turkey, they're going to be on the floor writhing in absolute agony, the hell of agony, in pain, sweating, and sometimes they die from it. And these idiots say that tobacco is as addictive as heroin because they hate smokers, and they devote all the world's resources to stopping smoking, and they do nothing to stop heroin from reaching a 16 or 18-year-old girl like that. Governor Tim Walz is in favor of legalizing marijuana in the state of Minnesota. Marijuana, you want to talk about gateway drugs to the hard stuff, marijuana takes away your inhibitions, dumbs you down, takes away your ability to think properly. And if you're susceptible to peer pressure, all it's going to take is someone to say, hey, why don't you try this pill? It feels really good. Why don't you smoke this foil? Here, let me tie your arm up here. Let me show you what really feels good. That girl walking around here at 2:30 in the morning, 16 to 18 years old is my estimate, is a direct result of what Governor Tim Walz wants for every Minnesotan's families. And a homeless guy who's sleeping out in the dark, or I'm sorry, I'm not going to sleep tonight, am I? I'm pretty riled up. A homeless guy who has to sleep out in a car is the one on YouTube telling people about this. Not the anti-smokers who could care less about the heroin addicts who are having their lives utterly destroyed. Or the opiate addicts that Big Pharmacy has gotten hooked. Big Pharmacy feeding these drugs to these kids. They're not doing anything to stop that. In fact, Big Pharmacy is the biggest underwriter of the anti-smoking industry because they're trying to transfer smokers from tobacco products to their products. These anti-smokers are pawns of Big Pharmacy. They always have been. Including the opiates. Those anti-smokers are disgusting. You wonder why I talk about them so much. This is one reason why. If they had devoted the kind of resources, the campaigns that they have put towards stopping smoking, towards stopping a girl like that from ever getting anywhere near heroin, we wouldn't have the opiate problem we have today. But those people don't care. Because the only thing they care about is themselves. I don't like the smell of smoke. I want to eat my dinner. I don't want to smell like smoke when I get home. That's all they care about. They don't care if this person gets cancer or not. They don't care about that non-smoker over there who got cancer. They don't care about that. The only thing they care about is they personally hate tobacco smoke. They hate the sight of somebody smoking, so they devote their entire existence to stopping other people from doing something that that person thoroughly enjoys, that enhances their life and makes their life better. And they do nothing about these drugs that actually are a real problem. Which brings me right back to Governor Tim Walz, who wants to legalize the gateway drug to meth, opiates, OxyContin, any of this stuff. And you've got to have a homeless guy in the middle of the night tell you this. The Star Tribune is not going to tell you this. Fox News isn't going to tell you this. KARE 11 is not going to tell you this. The Pioneer Press is not going to tell you this. I have to tell you this. Folks, in my mind is the picture of a young girl out there who just staggered away, leaving her bicycle behind, where who knows what kind of a creep could drive by and grab her and pull her into his truck or something. That's what Governor Tim Walz wants. This state is so jacked up. That's how my night went tonight, while you were asleep.